Hey everyone, welcome to the Luzerne Report. We're having a lot of fun doing these shows, and thank you for the comments we're getting about bringing information about what's happening in Luzerne County. It's a fabulous county, isn't it? I mean, with all the different reports we have, appreciate that. You know, we do the Schuylkill Report as well, and of course the Mayor's Report, Mayor Clues and Mayor Cassatt. And of course, here at the Luzerne Report, we're down here at the visiting bureau for the Luzerne, and my co-host Alan Stout. How are you, Alan?
Great to see you, Sam. Thanks for coming back down.
So tell me about the Perogi thing.
The Perogi Festival in Edwardsville a couple weeks ago was maybe their best ever. I mean, they had just
because you were there, right?
Well, I'm always there, so no, that goes without saying. No, they had great weather. It wasn't too hot. The showers held off. It looked like it might rain a little bit, but they held off, and they had great crowds and great food as always.
So now we talked about this on the last show. I always find it fascinating. So you didn't eat the whole pierogi, you ate a little bit of
No, I sampled them, and then I took the rest and put them in the little take-home tray.
Take-home tray.
Yeah.
So did you pick the winning one too?
Well, not me specifically, but
I mean,
we each gave them all a numeric score, all the judges, and then we turned in our cards, and then the other committee tallied the numbers and announced the winners. So
what were you looking for? What was the taste factor?
For me, it was just, can you taste, like, if it's the potato, can you taste the potato? Can you taste the dough? Is it not overwhelmed by one or the other? There's a texture category, there's an appearance category, there's a flavor category, and you give them all a numeric score, and then you total that up on your card, and then they come down after every round and take your card, and then they tally them up.
And how many entries were there?
Oh boy, I think there were about 10.
Oh man, that's tough.
Yeah.
That is tough.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Because, think about it. If you're confident enough in your pierogi that you want to enter it in the contest, it's pretty good.
I would never be able to do it. I mean, it's just, especially pierogies. Everyone loves
nothing
pierogies.
Frozen. These are all freshly made, and so, yeah, it's a great event. I love the Edwardsville Perogi Festival. Really do.
And all the events we mentioned, they go all right?
Oh, yeah. We had a great month. The Rockin the Mountain shows in Hazleton got off to a great start.
They were jammed.
We had the Elton John tribute the first week, and then we had the Stevie Nicks tribute the second week. Pretty hot weather the first week, but still had a great crowd.
Yeah, I know.
And then the second week, the temperatures were perfect, like 80 degrees and with a nice little breeze. So you couldn't have had a better day.
Of course, I have a complaint going into Mayor Cassatt and your company as well. I'm very upset.
Let's hear it.
Well, because they were going to ask me to sing. And they never asked me to sing. So
that was mishandled, Sam.
I know. Don't let it happen again. All right.
No, it was a gross oversight.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting because I mentioned about since we started airing the show, all these reports. We have the school district report in Hazleton, for example. But it's interesting because people sometimes don't realize how much really happens. Particularly in Luzerne County, and this is like, as you said, like a destination point,
Sure.
So now you have Rockin the River, okay? Now, how did this first start?
Rockin the River got started back in 2019. The Luzerne County manager at the time was Dave Pedry from the Hazleton area.
Excellent person.
Yeah, Dave's a great guy.
Excellent.
And, Dave worked over at the courthouse, and, the courthouse is right next to the Millennium Circle. And I think that Dave saw the beauty of the Millennium Circle and the River Common area. And, it opened up 15 years ago to a lot of fanfare. It was a big deal when it opened up, but it was 15 years ago. And it was somewhat underused. There wasn't really a lot going on down there other than some people walking their dogs and bikes and joggers. And so Dave wanted to do something with music. And so he brought his idea to the Visitors Bureau at the time. Ted Wample was the director. Donna Keyes was the marketing director at the time. And they brought Will Beekman from the Kirby Center in onto the team. Well, I think Will was already at the arena by then, I believe. Yeah, he was. And they put a great committee together, and they launched the inaugural Rockin' the River music series back in 2019. And it got off to a great start. They had some really great crowds that very first year.
Yeah.
The second year, COVID comes.
Oh, wonderful.
And so they got off to a great start, and they had something rolling, and they came up with a wonderful idea called Rockin' the County, where they actually took the music on the road. And they put the bands on flatbed trucks, and they drove them around 5 different communities in the county. And people could sit on their porch.
That's great.
Or gather outside the local tavern. I remember they came by Patty's sports bar up in Wilkes-Barre, and down around South Wilkes-Barre. I went to a couple of them at Pittston. They went down Main Street. They went to Hazleton, Nanticoke. And they really did a great job during that difficult time of doing something fun for the people and getting some music out there. 2021, the vaccine had come out in the spring. Things were starting to get a little bit back to normal, and we've been rolling ever since. So,
and it's really grown, hasn't it?
oh yeah, I mean, once the word of mouth gets out and people go and have a good time, they'll bring friends, they'll tell friends. And so last year, we had some of the biggest crowds we ever had. I mean, we had the Stevie Nicks tribute last year, and there were 5,800 people there. I mean, there were really, as far as the eye could see, from all the way down to the courthouse, almost down to the Market Street Bridge, the whole area, the lawn area was full of people just having a good time. We love Rockin' the River.
So how do you select the bands?
I work with Will Beekman on that. Will was the general manager. He was the executive director of the FM Kirby Center for a long time, and then he moved up to the arena where he became the GM. Now he's working with the company that oversees the arena in some of their entertainment and lots of their venues. And what we try to do is, Will agrees with me on this, is we try to find music that kind of fits the ambiance of the River Common. There's a relaxing vibe there. If it's a Friday night and it's a beautiful evening and you're sitting on the side of the river and you just had a long week at work, you really want to chill out. And so we don't go for bands that might be too heavy. I mean, personally, I love like an AC/DC band or a Kiss band or a Led Zeppelin band just as much as anyone. But for Rockin' the River, we've tried to find bands that, like I said, fit the ambiance of the venue. So we had the Eagles coming up this year. Last year we had Fleetwood Mac, Rolling Stones, Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, Elton John, and that seems to really work. People like appreciate that sort of atmosphere. And then the third week traditionally has always been an original band. And so last year we had the Badleys. The year before that we had Cabinet. The year before that we had a band called the Nude Party that Will found for us. This year we have Laney Gardner coming in, an up-and-coming country artist who's got a massive following on social media. So traditionally it is 2 great tribute bands that sort of fit the vibe of the venue, and then an original band to close things out. And we also have terrific local acts as the openers each week.
And you got vendors there as well, right?
Food vendors will be there. We have some drinks. The Susquehanna Brewing Company will be there with their craft brews. Friedman Hospitality, Bank and Vine will be there with wine. And so you have choices of 8 different food vendors, plus your wine, plus your beer. And we have some tremendous sponsors: Lewis and Friedman, Geisinger, Discovery EPA, the City of Wilkes-Barre, Mountain Productions, PSC Petroleum. They all get on board with several other sponsors and make it all happen so that the events are free. Yeah. There's no charge to come. And they're all ages. They're family oriented. People could, come solo, come with a friend, come with your wife, your girlfriend, bring the kids. Yeah. People are dancing. It's just a
lot of
terrific
fun.
night. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So what else is happening in July, early August?
Well, before we move on from Rockin' the River, I'll give the lineup because I don't think we got to everybody. So it kicks off on July 12th.
Oh, this is Rockin' River.
Yeah,
okay.
with Rockin' the River. And so it kicks off on July 12th, and we have a band called The Unforgettable Fire. and they're a tribute to the great U2, one of the greatest rock bands of all time. When U2 goes on tour, they don't play arenas, they play football stadiums. And so they've got an incredible catalog of music going back almost 40 years now, and this is one of the best tribute bands in the country. Opening the show will be a terrific local band called The Tribe. The second week is Winslow, an evening with the Eagles, and that is on July 19th. And opening for them will be the Traveling Wilkes-Barreans. We've had our eye on an Eagles band for a couple of years now. We always thought that would fit that scene. Imagine sitting on the side of the river on a Friday night and they're playing Take It Easy or Hotel California. It'd just be perfect. And then the following week, as I mentioned, is Lainey Gardner. She's the up-and-coming country artist, massive following on TikTok. She went viral with her cover of Fleetwood Mac's Dreams a couple of years ago. Massive following, and opening that show will be an awesome band called the Broke Pines. So there are your dates for Rockin the River: July 12th, July 19th, July 26th, Millennium Circle, River Common. Shows start at 6, they wrap up around 9.
Other than that, nothing's happening.
Oh, well, no. We have a major event happening from July 13th, July 11th to the 13th, and that's the Briggs Farm Blues Festival. And we have Dena Briggs coming in on the second half of the show to talk a lot more about that. That is such a fabulous event that I didn't even want to talk about it by myself. I wanted to bring the Briggs folks onto the program. So they'll be coming up after the break to tell a lot more about Briggs Farm. Other stuff coming up in July. The awesome Giants Despair Hill Climb, which happens really only about 2 miles from where we're sitting right now on Laurel Run. And they bring in these guys, they bring in these souped up cars. They could look like race cars, or it could just be your own automobile. And they literally race up this incredibly steep mountain and time themselves, and they give prizes, and it brings out a lot of people, and they have food vendors there and music. And I've been to the Giants Despair Hill Climb a couple of times now, and it's a lot of fun. Other stuff happening in July, we've got farmers markets happening every Tuesday in Pittston, Thursdays in Wilkes-Barre, Saturdays in Dallas. The Rail Riders have 3 home stands this month. There's plenty of opportunities to get out and catch a ball game. And I always remind people at this time of year, it's a great time to get out and enjoy our state parks and our trails. It's an awesome time to do some hiking, some biking, some fishing, and even get on the Susquehanna and do some kayaking.
Wow. So there's nothing else to do.
No, that's it.
It's very boring. It's amazing the stuff that you have. You know, when you take advantage, it's a lot of entertainment. Well, I'm looking forward to talk to Dena and the Bridge Farms. They do this each year, right?
Yeah, it started in like '98. I actually interviewed Richard Briggs when I was still a music columnist for the Times Leader about the very first one.
Wow.
And I've been supporting it as best I could with my radio show and here at the Visitors Bureau ever since. It's the largest annual event in southern Luzerne County.
We're going to take a break, my friends. You're watching the Luzerne Report. I'm Sam Lassant. Be back right after this. Well, welcome back to Luzerne Report. Remember, you can watch us anytime, 24/7 on ssptv.com or our YouTube channel. Just so you know, this show is seen on Comcast 190 in the Pottsville area. It's channel 92, Service Electric Cable Communications on channel 92 every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 11 p.m., 7 to 11 p.m., sorry. And of course, Hazelton channel 13 and 513 24/7. The Luzerne Report, we try to bring you as much information as possible. We are here with Alan Stout at the Visitors Bureau, Luzerne, visit Luzerne, which you should. And joining us now is Dena Briggs. So tell me, Alan, how this particular blues festival is exciting to you.
Well, I've been going to it for 25 years. Like I said, I've known Richard and Allison for a long time. Richard reached out to me 1998 when they were first starting it, when I was at the Times Leader, and we covered it, and I've gone down and helped MC and introduce bands. They bring in some of the best blues artists in the world. it's become one of the most recognized blues festivals in the United States, and so to have that right here in Luzerne County on an annual basis is just wonderful.
So tell me about, this blues festival, and then I'd like to talk about your farm, what you do there.
All right, well, this is our 27th year. We're heading into,
27 years.
yes, it's hard to believe.
Wow.
I mean, our lineup is always amazing. People start buying tickets in October, so our tickets go on sale October 1st, and people buy tickets, they have no idea what the lineup is. But they have a good 26 years to know that,
It's gonna be fun.
we never let anybody down. Yeah, the lineup is always good, and it just keeps growing and getting bigger, and we see new faces and we see old faces. It's just a fun little phenomenon. It's hard to explain unless you go, because people do have that preconceived idea about festivals.
Yeah, so explain that, because I've never been there, okay?
Okay,
So
yeah.
explain to me what I would see, where I park, where it's at. Is it a field? Is it, what?
It is in a big field, several acres, like 20 acres. Parking is free, and it's not very crowded. You can park and go into the festival, and you can leave. So you're not locked in. You don't have that feeling that you're there for the full 3 days if you don't want to be. It's wide open. We're pushing around 10,000 attendees, but it doesn't feel crowded. People bring chairs and they sit and they watch music for 3 days, and they love it, but it doesn't have a real crowded feel. I think it still feels pretty open.
And some people camp.
Yeah, I was going to say you camp there as well. Now there's places for people to stay overnight if they want to come in there.
Yes, we do have some hotels in Lower Luzerne County that are full right now, because I've called and checked in on them and they are full. But yeah, people do camp in the woods. We have woods and fields, and people roll in with RVs that cost as much as my house or just a car.
Tell me about it.
Or they put a hammock in a tree. It's really however you want to do it.
So are there refreshments there? Are there vendors there? Or?
Yeah, we have about 8 food vendors.
What do you have?
We have people from Berwick, basically. We have pizza. We have a gyro guy from Wilkes-Barre is coming in. We have a walking taco. We have subs. I mean, anything you can imagine really is there. And Berwick Brewing is there.
Yeah, would you like pierogies?
I love pierogi. I actually got really
With the
excited.
Perogi King right here.
Yeah.
We get him to get his pierogi guys
Hey,
down.
they're the Ukrainian Catholic Church in Berwick,
Yeah.
and they make pierogies,
Yeah,
and
you can't. They're fabulous.
you can't beat them.
Yeah, it's just that's why. So, but you have an assignment.
All right.
Okay,
We
get
can
the
make that
Alright,
connection.
you're in,
But
Alan.
Isn't the corn on the cob one of
No,
the
it's not enough.
Yeah.
We need pierogies.
Yeah, but the corn on the cob at Briggs is sort of a signature thing.
Yeah, we started doing that. Oh my gosh, a long time ago.
So
And
how did this thing start?
so my father-in-law was a kid in the late '60s and wanted to go to Woodstock. This is the story. And I believe this is true because I've heard it
I've heard
forever.
him say it many times.
But he couldn't go to Woodstock because he was planting a field of tomatoes.
Okay.
So he decided that he would, make his own festival someday. And he went on to work at WVIA in Pittston for a lot of years as a producer.
What was his name?
Richard Briggs.
Okay.
And he left there eventually with a lot of experience on how to put on this level of production.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we
Now,
have some big bands and they need, everything has to be right
So,
for them.
but you still have your farm, right?
My husband is a farmer. Yeah, we plant about 600 acres of corn.
Well, now doesn't that the festival? Doesn't that interfere with your farming?
Oh, yeah.
It's like Field of Dreams with the baseball field, right?
It does. I mean, so we're in the middle of there's corn all around us, and there's different.
Yes, there's corn everywhere. Yeah. And we have 35,000 laying hens, cage-free laying hens.
I could see why people camp there. It's like a mini vacation for them.
It is a mini vacation. I have a lot of people who have family reunions. They meet up with their family in the woods instead of doing a typical family reunion. They just meet at Briggs Farm.
So tell me about some of this lineup you have, because I'm.
Okay, yeah. So our headliner for Saturday is a band called Uncle Lucius, and they have a hit song called "Keep the Wolves Away." And people who watch Yellowstone I don't. I should. But people who watch the show called Yellowstone would know that song. And their genre of music is kind of like hooking out into that country, rock, blues world. So people who think they know the blues, and they do know the blues, that hill country blues, that Delta sound, there's a lot of wiggle room there. And I think that's part of the reason that we're so good at having this massive age range. You know, a lot of blues festivals you might think are just like maybe the older crowd. We have it all. Everybody comes to Briggs Farm, and I think it's because we really book bands that are gonna interest all age levels. But Uncle Lucius is our big guy on Saturday. Yeah.
So where are you located at?
We're in Nescapec. Okay. So we're about 25 minutes from Wilkes-Barre, I believe, if there's no traffic.
Is there an address? So
Yes.
if someone wants to GPS
Yes,
it.
if you're going to GPS us, it would be 56 Hobby Road, Nescapec, Pennsylvania. We're very close to Bloomsburg and Berwick.
Okay. And is there a phone number that they could call? Or?
Oh, yeah. Yep, call us. It's 570-379-3342.
Yeah. What are the times? Like, when does it start?
It starts on Thursday,
July 11th.
July 11th, Thursday, and Sunday, which is July 14th. Everybody will be wanting to get home.
And if you go on the website, briggsfarm.com, you'll see some great pictures from years past.
Okay, great.
It's really, it's an excellent website. Their moniker for Briggs is the best weekend of the year. That they've been calling it that for a long time. And I know there are a lot of people here in Luzerne County and outside of Luzerne County that do consider it that. So we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Alan.
We hope you have a great event.
Thanks for coming on and putting up with Alan and stuff. All right, my friend, we're going to close it up. We're closing it up. The Luzerne Report, my friends, ssptv.com. You can watch it anywhere in the world. And we always appreciate your comments. We'll see you next time.